Hey beaders, how are you all doing? All settling into October's weather? Best time to get the beads out, as they say, and let's stay warm and let's do some beading together. So some time ago I was asked in a comment dropped on one of my videos if I could come up with some ideas of what to do with some crystals, some crystal cubes. So I got the beads out and had a look at making these. Now this is what I came up with first, and it is a right angle weave using the crystal cubes with some 11 OC beads, some 2 by 3mm Rondelle beads, and I came up with this. And doesn't it look pretty? I absolutely adore it. It's lovely. And then I got my thinking cap on a little bit more, tongue tied this morning, and I came up with this. Isn't this gorgeous? I absolutely love it. Couldn't come up with any names for any of them. So this one I decided to call the Lady Jane bracelet. I think it's really nice. It's turned out lovely, and this is what I'm going to be showing you how to make today. Okay, I'm going to go through what we need material wise to make this project, but I just wanted to show you what I've been making. If you would like to see a tutorial on this one, please do drop a comment. I'll be happy to do a tutorial for you, and if you could come up with a name I'd be very much appreciative, because I cannot think of what to call it. This one I did with a toggle clasp, and this one I did with a lobster clasp. And then the one I'm showing you today, I put a magnetic clasp on. Ooh. There we are. So this is what I'm going to show you how to make today. So to make a 7-inch bracelet, then you will need, let me get my list, you will need 52, that doesn't sound right, that's for the other one, here we go. You will need 14 cubes, and these are 4 by 4mm cubes. You will need 28 2 by 3mm little Rondelle crystals. You will need some 11 OC beads. I am making mine today with the silver. You will need some 15 OC beads. Again, I am making silver. And you can use Toho or Miyuki. These ones are the Toho brand. You will need a clasp of choice. I am using another magnetic clasp. It just makes putting on the bracelet so much easier. And you will need a needle and thread. Now I'm using a 10mm needle, but you can use a 10 or 12mm, a size 10 or 12 beading needle. And you will need thread of choice. I am using 6 pound Fireline today, and you will need an arm span and a half. So an arm span then, guys, is taking your thread from the tips of your fingers, stretching your arms out to either side, taking the thread across your body to meet the other side of your fingers, and then back up to your shoulder, and there you have the thread measured out. It's going to be one of those days today, isn't it? I can feel it coming. So get your beading items together and we'll attempt to make this bracelet. So 4mm cubes, 14 of them, 28 crystal rondelles 2x3mm, 11 OC beads, 15 OC beads, a clasp of choice, a needle and your thread. So get your items together and we'll make this lovely bracelet together. So then you've got all your beading bits and bobs together that we need to make this project, so let's get cracking. So onto our needle then we need to add 1 11 OC bead, 5 15 O's, the clasp, another 5 15 O's, so we have an 11 O, we bring you in a little bit. Ooh, there we go. So we have an 11 O, 5 15s, our clasp, and 5 15s. Okay. Dropping those beads then down to our thread. Now we need to leave about a 10-inch, 8 to 10-inch tail, just so that we can sew it in later, because I don't want to be putting any knots in. If you want to put a bead stop on the end, then please feel free, but I am just going to leave mine dangling. So now we're going to put our needle through the 11O just to complete our circle. Pull our tail thread and our working thread together, and this gives us a circle. Now we're going to go all through these 15 O's again and exit our 11O. Okay, so just working our needle and thread through the 15 O's that we have added, making sure we don't miss any, going through the clasp, out the other side, through the 15s, and exit our 11O. I like to hold my finger and thumb over the thread and the beadwork, and we have this. Okay, so our tail thread is exiting out of the beadwork and our working thread is exiting from the other side, so they're both coming out of the 11O bead. Okay, so to make our first little bit then, we're going to add 3 11OC beads onto our needle. Our working thread is exiting here. We're just going to come round into a loop and add our 3 11OC beads. Now this bracelet is made all in one go, so we're going to be reinforcing our beadwork as we go. By reinforcing then, I'm going to pass my needle and thread through the 3 beads that we've just added and the adjoining 11O here at the clasp, back up the side and out through the top. So holding on to our beadwork then with our fingers and our thumb, through the side, through the top. Now I like to do this through each bead. Some people like to go through a couple of beads at a time. I don't, because sometimes I think it pulls the shape out of whack a little bit, so it may be a little bit time consuming, but I like to still do it that way. I turn my beadwork as I go, just so I'm not fighting against the beads and going with them. And finally exiting the top of our, dropping it, so I'm exiting out the top of our little section we've just added. Okay, so this is what we have. Next then we're going to start on our pattern of, I've still got the bracelet on, let's take it off, Jane. We're going to be making our first little beaded component. Okay, so we've just made our link, now we're going to make our beaded component. So to do this then we're going to add 4 15-0s onto our needle, a little Rondelle crystal, 4 15-0s, and our first cube. So 4 15-0s, a Rondelle, 4 15-0s and our cube. We're going to drop these beads down to our beadwork. I've got a, there we are. Got 15-0 that's not behaving itself. The hole must be clogged a little bit. Trying hard not to knot our thread. I'm going to let the cube drop down, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to come back through the 11OC bead on our little connection here, and in the same movement, instead of pulling it up, I'm going to then go through the C beads. I have got a clogged hole on one of my 15-0s. Not to worry, if you have some pliers to hand, when it gets stuck like that, just give your needle a little pull with the help of your pliers. And just finishing off then, going through those remaining C beads. And you'll notice that I'm always flip-flopping my work around in my fingers, in my hand. It just helps making sure that I'm going in the right direction and working with the beads instead of away from them. Okay, I'm going to pick up an 11-0, 4 15s, a crystal Rondelle, 4 15s, okay, an 11-0, 4 15s, a crystal Rondelle, 4 15s, and I'm going to come back up through our cube. And pull our thread through, and you shall have this. I am now going to go through the 11-0 at the top, so our thread is exiting the cube. I'm going to go through the 11-0, through all the 15s that we've just added, the crystal rondelle, all the 15s at the bottom, and the 11O that's adjoining our little component. Give it a pull and then go up through our cube, making sure that our thread doesn't get attached. And then we're going to go through the 11O at the top of our cube and pull our thread through. And we have this. So that's our clasp attached, our first little connection, and our first little decorated cube. Okay, so now we're going to be making the connection again. So we've already got our 11OC bead sat here at the top of our cube, so we just need to add on 3 11OC beads. So our 3 11OC beads, our thread is exiting to the left. We're just going to come round in a circle and add those 3 11Os on the top. I am now going to turn my beadwork over because I like to work on the right side because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, then stay where you are. And again, we're going to reinforce our bracelet as we go. The benefit of doing this all in one go is that once we've got to the length we require, we can just tie off and our bracelet is finished. And oh, said it's going to be one of those days, didn't I? Haven't drunk enough coffee this morning, obviously. Once I put this through, guys, into the bottom one, it'll pull the beadwork back where I want it. There we go. I've got a little knot in my thread. Before it turns into a big knot, I'm just going to, there we are, loosen it up. Sometimes your thread likes, your tail end likes to wrap around your thread and cause you a little bit of a nightmare. Sort myself out, get myself in position. Okay, so finishing off then up into our side bead, through the top of our little connector, and here we are ready to add our next cube on. Just pull my sleeves up. Right, okay. So if you remember then, from our first one, we need to add 4 11OC beads, 4 15OC beads, do beg your pardon, 4 15OC beads, a 2x3mm rondelle, and 4 15OC beads, and our cube. Dropping our beads down to our work, we're going to come through our 11OC bead at our adjoining little component, and then up through the 15 O's, the crystal and the 15 O's, holding our beadwork between our thumb and finger, pulling our thread and this is what we have. Adding an 11 O, 4 15s, a crystal, 4 15s onto our needle. We've only got 3 on there, so 4, so 1 11 O, 4 15s, crystal, 4 15s, and we're going to come round, up through our cube, just pulling on our thread to make sure everything sits nicely, through the 11 O, if you can't get through all your beads all in one go, it's no great hardship. Remember, we're supposed to be enjoying this, we're not supposed to be rushing it. And at the bottom, going through all our 15 O's, I've got another clogged 15 O. Yeah, get my pliers. There we are. Through the 11 O on the bottom, then up through the cube at the top, to the top should I say, and then through our 11 O, which then puts us in position to make our next little connection. And this, guys, basically is the whole, is all that you're going to be doing for the whole of the bracelet. So just little connectors in between of the 11 OC beads, and then making your pretty little cube crystals. Believe it or not, it took me ages to come up with this pattern. It wouldn't work, and I kept on undoing it, and it took me all day in the end to work it out what I was doing wrong. But hey, that's what it's all about. So our thread is exiting over onto the left, coming round in a circle through the top of our little component, through the 11 OC bead, thumb and finger over the top. It just helps keep everything in place and helps our thread to run smoothly. My thread is exiting over here. I'm now going to flip my work over because I like to work this side. Just reinforcing then. I can see the holes. I really need to get to the opticians and see if these glasses are suiting me. Okay, through the top. Down the side. Across the top again. As in the top of the little component. This can get a little bit tricky because your beads seem to want to get in the way. So I'm just going to turn my beadwork over just so I'm working that's more comfortable for me. So I'm working this way. There we go, and I'm not struggling then. Okay. Flipping my beadwork again, just so it's more comfortable. But you work out which is best for you. Through the side bead. And coming out the top. We're ready to add on another component. So our thread's exiting to the left. 4 seed beads, size 15, a rondelle, 4 seed beads, size 15, a crystal, dropping those beads down to our work, letting the crystal fall down our thread, it's not going anywhere, holding the thread over your finger, keeping it tight. So I'm holding it down here in between my other finger, my beadwork and my thumb, coming back through the adjoining 11, and we'll see if we can get it all in one go. No, I can't. Doesn't matter. Going through. All the beads. Is that a knot? Not another knot. There we go. Seed beads. The 50 O's have got stuck, and now it's caused a traffic jam. So a traffic jam we've got, guys. We've got a right good traffic jam going on here. So I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to turn the camera off, sort it out and come back to you. I've got to round it back up. Sorry about that. Catastrophe is averted though. Nobody was injured. So all I've done then is pulled my beads to sit nicely in the pattern, and naughty thread is being very naughty. So 1 11 0, 4 naughty 15s, they're all naughty beads now, a crystal and 4 15s, sorry, naughty 15s. Okay, our thread is exiting the top of the 4mm crystal. We're just going to come round in a loop through our cube, our thread is exiting at the top, going through the 11 0 and the 15s, through the crystal and the 15s. Don't worry if you can't get it round all in one go, it doesn't matter. Through the 2 15s at the bottom, or should I say the last two 15s that we've just added, and the 11/0 on our component. And pull, and then up through the crystal cube, and then through the 11 at the top of our little beaded component, and pull. Teal's beautiful. I'm loving the teal. You don't have to do silver, you can do whatever colour seed beads you like. I was thinking that a beginner might be able to do this bracelet, but you'd have to be a confident beginner, I think, because the amount of thread that you use, it can get on your nerves a little bit. It can get in the way and knot up and the rest of it. I mean, it drives me nuts, let alone a beginner. And I did think that messing with the little components might be a little bit much for a beginner, but if you're confident and you've been beading for a little while, why not give it a go? So on to the next component then. 3 11/0 seed beads. Our thread is exiting over here to the left. We're just going to come round in a loop. You know what you're doing now, guys, don't you? Hey, are you all with me so far? Just seems that long since I've done a proper tutorial. I'm out of whack with it a little bit, aren't I? That's how it seems. Am I all fingers and thumbs? Or can I just blame it on not having enough coffee? Turning my beadwork over. I think I'll just say it's coffee. Coffee and hormones, or lack of them. Lack of both, really. Lack of coffee and a lack of hormones. Oh, guys. Got to have a giggle. Just reinforcing our little component. It's a repetitive pattern. That would make a nice earring as well. Here comes the rain. Can you hear it on my Perspex roof? If it gets too heavy, guys, I'll stop because you won't be able to hear me. I'll have to shout. Okay, that would make a nice pair of earrings. So you could do earrings to match. A few 15s here for a loop. Add on to an ear wire. Nice, nice set. Fab for Christmas, little Christmas ideas. Lovely. Did I just say Christmas? Did I just say the Christmas word? I did, didn't I? I said it twice. Right, so 4 15/0s. Crystal, 4 15/0s. And a cube. Dropping your beadwork down then, letting your cube just dangle in the wind. And I've only got 3 seed beads on there where you were shouting at me. Let's just take our crystal off, our cube off, add another 15/0 and a cube. I've obviously lost the ability to count. Dropping our cube then, coming through the 11/0, through our beads, giving our thread, just if you pull your thread down, it helps your work to sit nicely. Picking up an 11/0, 4/15s, crystal, 4/15s, coming back through our cube, through our 11/0 at the top, and as many beads as you can get through. I think I'm going to have to use my pliers. Some of these 15s have been really naughty. There we are. Just make sure you don't stab yourself. Could you imagine that, explaining that, pulling your pliers with your needle and you slip and you stab yourself? It's not very good, is it? Jane, your sense of humour is terrible. So going through the seed beads, some of these are awful, and the 11/0 on our adjoining little component at the bottom. Coming through our cube, and then through our 11/0 at the top, and that gives us another component, and it's coming along lovely. So on we go then. 3 11/0 seed beads, our threads exiting to the left. I'm going to bring my needle round from the right to make our loop. Just turn your beadwork however you like to make things comfortable. I'm now going to flip over, come through the side bead, come through the top bead, down the side, flip my work over, through the bottom. It's just so I'm not fighting with myself. To my work over again, up through the side bead and across the top. So I'll just make this last component with you guys and then leave you to go to length, because it's very repetitive. You don't probably need to see me putting on all of my 14 beads, my 14 cubes. So I'll do the next one with you and then we'll go it alone. So for 15 O's, a rondelle, 4 15 O's, a cube, dropping our beadwork down, letting the cube dangle, holding the other beads in our finger, going through the 11/0, going through all our seed beads and rondelle, pulling our work nicely, just a little tug on our thread, add in an 11/0, 4 15s, a rondelle, four 15s, Going round on ourselves through the cube. Giving our thread a little wiggle and a little pull. Going through the 11. And all the seed beads. The 2 15s. The 11 on the bottom. Up through our cube. And through the 11 on the top. Okay guys, so I've done 5 with you. All you need to do now then is add 3 size 11s, make your little connecting, reinforce, and then start back on your cube again. I'm sure you don't want to see me making the whole bracelet. I always feel bad though, as if I've deserted you and just let you carry on your own. Or should I just carry on and fast forward it? No, I think you'll be okay, won't you? Carrying on that on your own, because it's very repetitive. And I will meet you back on the last cube, okay? So just keep on going, putting the little connections in between, and grow your bracelet using up all 14 cubes for the 17 inch. Just by the way guys, if you need to make it a little bit bigger, obviously just add another component on. If you need to make it smaller, take one off. Okay, so I will meet back with you and we'll do the last one together. Here we are then at the last component. I've added 13 from the last one, and doesn't it look gorgeous? I thought I'd do the last one with you. So here we are then, 4 15-0s. Crystal, 4 15-0s. I think that was one of the small ones. 1 2 3 4. Our cube. Drop it down. Coming through the 11-0 and the crystals, the seed beads and the crystals, or crystal, through the 15-0s, pulling our thread, keep it all nice and snug, an 11-0, 4 15s, crystal, 4 15s, coming through our cube, going through the 11-0, whatever beads we can get through, our last few 15s and our 11/0 on the bottom. Through our cube, and then through our 11/0 on the top, and we've put all our components on, so we just need to finish off then now, guys. So to finish off, we're going to be putting 3 11/0s on, making our last component, our little joiner, through the top, just reinforcing. Coming around to our top 11/0, and we're just going to copy what we did on the end, okay, on this end. So we're going to add 5 15/0s. I'm just going to undo, take our other end off here, go through our clasp, add 5 15/0s, come through our 11/0 at the top of our bracelet, and then go round to reinforce. Coming through our 11/0, and I'm going to go round again. Making sure we don't miss any beads out, and not to miss out our clasp. Making sure we don't attach our, get our thread wrapped around the clasp, and give it a little pull and give it a little wiggle, just to make sure that the beads are all positioned nicely. Now we're going to tie off some knots then, guys. So I'm going to turn the bracelet around, and I'm going to start working this way from our clasp end down through our beads and tie off some half hitch knots. So coming back through a side bead, through our adjoining 11/0 C bead, trying hard not to go through any 15/0s, so just the 11/0, back down our cube, through our 11/0 at the bottom of our cube, through the 11 0, and I'm going to start tying knots. So just picking up a thread in between these two 11 0's, okay, pulling up a little loop, going back through the loop, and slowly pull that thread through, and that will cause a little thread, a little knot between our beads, going through the 11 0, down into the cube, through the 11 0 at the bottom, picking up trying to pick up a thread, maybe turn the bracelet around, I've gone back through the bead, pulling up a little loop, needle through the loop, slowly pulling that down, giving a little wiggle, and going through seed bead, through the next seed bead, down the cube, going through the 11 0, catching the thread, going through the loop, making sure the thread, the knot, sits between the 11 0's, turning our work as we go, putting in as many knots as you feel is necessary. I'm just going to do one more, guys, and I think that'll do. Through the 11 0, catching a thread, stick with it. Actually got there. And this time, to finish off, I'm going to go through the 11 0 at the bottom and some 15 0 seed beads, and I'm going to call that done. Pulling my thread tight. You can use a thread zapper if you like, and just cutting off that thread. Okay, so to do the other side then, can either squash the tail thread with your pliers or run it through your teeth. Just be careful if you've got dentures. Don't want to see anybody's dentures go flying across the table, do we? Thread our needle. Okay. With our tail thread then, it's exiting our 11/0. Come back through the seed beads, the 15/0 seed beads. Remember, we only pass through twice, and I do like to do 3 passes through on a clasp, making sure we don't miss any seed beads out. Going through the clasp, turning our work. It's just a bit tricky because the needle's trying to cling onto the magnet and the clasp. Going through the 11/0. Ow! I just stabbed myself with the needle. Ooh, got a bit of blood. Oh, the times we've done that. Okay. I'm just going to flip my beadwork over, come through the next 11/0 seed bead, through the 11/0, down through the crystal, through the adjoining 11/0 on the bottom, and then tie a knot. Making sure our knot goes between the beads. Turning my work again, just because it's more comfortable for me. Going through the 11/0. No rush. Oh, Jane, you're going the wrong way. You're going back on yourself. Going through the cube. Through 11/0. 11/0. Turning my work to make it more comfortable and easier for myself. Picking up a thread, pulling a loop, going through the loop with our needle, pulling the knot down, through the 11/0, down through the cube, moving positions, going through the 11/0 and the one on the side, turning my work again just so it's easier and I can see where I'm going. Pick up a thread, going through the loop, slowly pulling that knot down. And that'll do me, going through the 11 now, going through some seed beads and cutting my thread off. And again, you can use a thread zap. And there we have it. I'm just going to move these seed beads out of the way. So we can have a nice look at the beads, at the finished bracelets. And there we have our finished teal bracelet. Our Lady Jane bracelet. I'm just going to widen you out a wee bit. Wow, what do you think? I love the teal. Very striking. It's gorgeous. So what do you think of the Lady Jane bracelet? Do you think you'll give it a go? If you are a beginner and you'd like to give this a go, just watch the video through and then see what you think, and then give it a go if you'd like to. Oh, I'm loving that. It's so nice. I don't know which I prefer. I like the teal. The teal's gorgeous. So I really hope that you've enjoyed today's tutorial, guys. I really do hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you go on to make lots, and in lots of lovely colours. What colours have you got in your stash? Well, I know I've got greens, so I might make some greens. I know I've got reds. I've also got some pinks. Also got pink in my stash. I know I have. Yeah, I've got some pinks, and I've got some of this smoky quartzy colour. That'd look nice. Just enough to make a bracelet there. But I've got pinks, reds and greens and blues. So, loving them. Love it. So guys, if you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do think about giving me a thumbs up and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. If you've not subscribed to me and you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more from me, please do hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you along on my beading journey. And if you'd like to see a tutorial on the square stitch bracelet, then please do leave me a comment. And if you've come up for a name for it yet, then please do again drop me a comment. Yeah, so that's it from me today then, guys. From a windy and showery Cornwall. From a windy and showery Cornwall, it's time to get that kettle on, have a brew, and let's get beading. Hope to see you on the next video, guys. Take very good care. Stay extra safe in these weird times that we're living in 2020. Very strange year. Never mind. Get the beads out. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Oh, let's see those thumbs. Thumbs, thumbs. Thumbs, thumbs, thumbs. Nearly forgot.
Next level.